Alright guys, today I am gonna attempt swapping my CRX seats, and you might think like that's gonna take 5 minutes. No, because I'm gonna swap the pan from the bottom so I can put in these seats. So this is what I'll be swapping in, a prelude seat, because I really like the design of them and it's pretty comfortable. And this one is really starting to bug me because you lay back here and it's just like the metal rod right there, and this is digging into your shoulder right here, so it's time to swap them. Driver's seat is done, and I didn't film much of it, so I'm gonna film all of the passenger seat to kind of do a step-by-step, but you still need to do your own research and everything. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get the rails off, and then that'll allow you to get to the pan itself. The rails are held on with 4 12mm bolts, and then this one you have to slide this part down to get to the bolt that's hiding behind here. So I'm going to do that now. There they go. And you definitely want to keep the bolts off of the one that you want to use in the long run, because they'll all need to be reused. So now your rails are off. The next part you would need to do is take off the side parts, which there's a Phillips holding this cover on, and then on the other side it's just a 19mm nut. So I need to get my Phillips, and then I believe there's 2 14s under here. I'll have to see. Yeah, there's one 14 right up front right here, and then there's one that's kind of behind this gear. Before you take the front bolt out, move the seat back so you can have this bolt exposed, and then take them both out. So I don't know about you guys, but these EF seats near me, they're all so expensive, and they're all beat up because they're so old. But I got these for 125 bucks. So rather than spending 400 plus on old beat up seats with bad foam, I'd rather just take the time and swap the pans and have some cooler seats, in my opinion. Okay, now pulls apart. You don't really need the back for anything else. I feel bad because this passenger seat's in pretty good shape, but I want matching seats. Now, on the old seat, all we have left to do is take out these little eyelet rings, or whatever they're called. They're just holding the fabric plastic in place. So out come those, and I just use needle nose and 2 sets of pliers to pry them and make them come out. And then, yeah, after that, the pan comes right out, and then just got to place it in that one, and it's that easy. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this, but I'll just get some needle nose in there. Ooh. Start prying a little bit. And just pry it back so it opens up. And be very careful. You don't want to have to get a tetanus shot. But that's it. Now you just got to do that 12 more times, 13 more times, and then it's ready to come out. So they're all out, and as you can see, it just folds right out of the way. So now it's just free access to the pan itself. You just got to move the stuff around the edges. Foam might be a little sticky as it's 30 years old or older. And that's it. This foam's in pretty good shape. This seat was in really good shape for the age, so I feel bad. So now it's a rinse and repeat with the other seat. This one has differences though, because it's a different style. So you got to take off this large trim piece and a few other things. These brackets bolt on the side, so that's different. but in essence it's the same thing. You know, you got to undo these plastic things instead of the clamps themselves. So you just pull and then they come out of their spots. These are easier. I like these better, but you got to use these for when putting it back together. At least I do. If you're doing a prelude seat back, you have to leave this part on because these holes right here actually bolt into where the CRX one bolted in. 114 millimeter right there, and then if you ream this hole out inwards a little bit, I'd say about a 1/4 inch, then you can fit the other 14 millimeter in here. So this is essentially almost bolts in, so it's very nice. And then the trim part goes back over here, and that way it uses the prelude system for seat forward and back, and it just makes it simple. And this fits in on the other side fine, and you just use the CRX bolt. It goes through there and holds it in, and yeah, it's very simple. Now it's time for me to take the cushion or the seat pan out of the bottom cushion on the prelude seats. So like I said, these just pull and they're very simple to do. And on the prelude seat, it has 2 of those little clips, so you only have to worry about 2 of them. And just like that, it's as easy as swapping a Honda CRX. If you haven't checked it out, I have a playlist in my channel. Go check it out. I swapped my CRX, and it was very fun. Out with that seat pan. And in with the CRX one, and you're done. You are absolutely done. All right, now is when the real work begins, because before it's just taking it apart. It's simple, but now is when you're on your own, because I am not going to be responsible for your seat coming apart. So yeah, you need to figure out a way to hold this stuff down, because all these plastics are what hold the fabric and the cushion down to the seat pan. So in the event of a wreck or something, this needs to hold. So yeah, I'm not responsible, so you got to figure out a way for you holding this down. And what I'm gonna do, and I don't recommend this, is I'm gonna use the little the little pieces of 30-year-old wire or whatever this is, and I'm gonna put it through the plastic and try to put it through some of these things. Like right here, I'm gonna fold this back through the plastic, through that loop, to hold it down. Right here, I'm gonna go just holding all that fabric through the loop, and so on. That's what I'm gonna do, but again, you gotta find your own way and figure it out. And also, when you're figuring out how to hold this stuff down, you wanna make sure you remember where the seat bracket bolts are. So, one right here, and then on the other side. So yeah, it might cover up them, and you gotta cut out some of the fabric or something so you can put the seat bracket down. So keep that in mind. I've got it all situated now. Now I'm going to work on putting the rails on, and then after I do the rails, we can move on to the back part. So I need to cut where this hole is right here. I'm just using a razor blade to cut some of the fabric out so that I can see it, so I can get a bolt through it. You know how it works. Something like that. Yeah, that's how I did it. That's how I did it. You want to make sure this bar is not messed up, because that's what moves the seats forward and backwards. Alright, so now that that's over with, now we just need to work on the side part, And for that, we're gonna have to hollow out that hole, and we also have to cut a bit off the front. I'll show you that too. You can see it has the CRX buckle, and it's a seat bottom. Now we just have to fasten the side. First things first, when it comes to the side, is we'll have to find the bolt holes back here, which one right there, one right there, and then I'll show you what you have to do for that. So for this hole back here, let me show you up here. So this hole fits a 14, no problem. This hole is too small, and it's a little too far back. So the bolt, that's dead center in the hole. It needs to be forward a little bit. So I move it that way a little bit. So that's the way the hole needs to be hogged out a little bit and a little wider so the diameter can fit through. So that's what has to happen there. This bolt hole can stay untouched and it'll be fine. You just have to work on this one. And then after that, it's just this bolt, that bolt, and this. And then this is mountable. So up front, you have to cut it from about right here to right here. Just cut a chunk like that out, because right there will hit on the CRX floorboards. So I'll have to cut that out as well. This is to hold the old mounting stuff on, so it's not really important. We could honestly cut like all that right there off, but I just want to cut that little bit off so the whole plastic thing can screw back in properly. Has a screw tab right there and right there. So yeah, I'm going to do that now, and we should be good to go after that. As you can see, that bolt hole has been enlarged and moved over a little bit. That should be enough. I might have to hit it a little more, we'll see. And then the front, I took a good chunk out of there. I probably went a little overboard, but I just don't want to have to cut again when all this is useless anyways. So now let's bolt it up. Ooh, I forgot. I gotta cut some fabric on this side too. I enlarged the hole a little bit more, and now they're both in. I'm gonna have to cut that trim piece so that doesn't hit the floorboard at all, but that's basically done. Got a prelude seat for a CRX. Now if you've made it this far, you gotta test it out. You just gotta make that fit, but put my little handle on, lean back. Yeah, this seat, it is a lot more comfortable than these old ones. So now I just gotta trim the bottom of this trim, maybe like a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and then it's ready to be put in. I got this trimmed. I didn't do too good of a job. I don't have like an actual plastic cutter, and the cutting disc just burns it all up. So what I want for Christmas is a plastic cutter. Ooh. Make sure to plug in your seatbelt connector. And I start the first two and then slide it forward and line the second two up before you torque everything down. And just like that, it's done. It's swapped. Not only is the engine swapped, seats are swapped. Let's give it a feel. Now my one passenger is going to be very excited because it might be loud still, and it might still rattle, and it might sit at 4,500 on 95, but the seats are a little more comfortable. A little. That's a big improvement. But in all reality, don't mind the receipt. In all reality, these for 125 and maybe like 2 hours each of work, so 4 hours in total. And that's with filming some. But yeah, either that or finding some beat up ones. Yeah, I'm very excited with how this turned out. Hope you guys were able to learn a little bit from this video. This swapping the pans was definitely a lot easier than expected. Like I said, it only took me like 2 hours per side, and that was like me kind of figuring it out as I go, and I was filming a little bit and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely well worth it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was definitely really fun to do that, and it was a real cool process. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked the video. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, and I think I'm deepest in that bar. In the darkest of the dark, I shining bright like good stuff.